Hello and welcome to Bryan Living and Learning. I'm Alan Bruggman from the City of Bryan's Communications Department.
And I'm Sandy Farris, the Communications Director for Bryan ISD. We have an interesting show today. We'll be looking at some student groups and their activities. And Alan, what do you have for us today?
The City of Bryan will take a look at an innovative conference that recently came to downtown Bryan, and also some of our public works employees were able to show off some of their machinery to some Bryan ISD students.
Well, our first story today is a profile of the Texas Color Guard Circuit competition and our Bryan High group's involvement in that competition.
Last year was my first year as director, and we won the state championship. So we hold the state title right now. This year we're doing a program that involves 13 high school kids. It's called Dreaming with a Broken Heart. You may know the song by John Mayer. We have the state championships on March 28th of this month. See if we can win it all again. We are part of the band. We march with the band on the field for football games in the fall. And then what a lot of kids don't know about is that we don't stop there. We do much like a drill team does. We go into our own competition where all of it is indoors. We pick a theme and some pre-recorded music, and we dance and spin our equipment to on a basketball court. We practice, for Winter Guard, we practice Tuesdays and Thursday nights from 5 to 9 p.m. and then we do dress rehearsals on Friday and then competitions most Saturdays in the spring. So it's a lot of time, but it teaches these girls commitment and responsibility probably like no other. So they're ready for college and more life responsibilities.
It's really different. Like, you get really close to everybody, like really close to everybody. We all become friends. We have a lot of fun in what we do, but once it comes to competitions, we usually come together, put on a great show.
Color Guard is a really, really great experience where you meet new people, make friends that'll basically last forever. That's how it was for me when I first joined. But I think really trustworthiness and friendship is really what I've learned in Color Guard, because it's part of really who we are.
We really are looking to bump the quantity of kids involved in the Color Guard program. That was the reason we started the middle school programs. We want to open kids' eyes to the activity so that they realize that there is an activity. They don't have to have 10 years of dance training to be able to be involved in this activity or performance experience. They can come fresh, and we'll teach them everything they need to know. And we just want to get kids, involved in positive activities to make their lives more positive.
Well, Sandy, it's neat to see a local team from Bryan High School be nationally ranked.
It is, and that group works really hard, practicing lots of hours after school.
Well, we go from Bryan High students to some Bryan second graders. Recently, some Johnson Elementary students got a public works machinery demonstration by some City of Bryan employees. Oohs and ahs from second graders at school are usually reserved for a perfect score on a math quiz or while they're watching the latest Disney movie. But on a recent Friday at Bryan's Johnson Elementary, the oohs and ahs were because of heavy machinery. The city's Public Works Department brought over 4 different pieces of equipment that they use daily in our community.
Today the kids got to see 4 different vehicles. The first one that they saw was a grapple truck, in which we go around town and pick up basically different types of solid waste that people leave in bulk, sometimes brush also. The second item they saw was a VACCON. And that machine is used to go in when we have blockages in our sewer systems. Also, if we have problems with water that's in ditches and things that's getting left behind, we can come back in and take that up, and then we take that to the sewage plant. The third one was a bucket truck, which we use for going up and changing lights and signals that we have around town for the streets. We also for lights on the streets for in the evenings. We also use that for getting on top of buildings and the like. The fourth machine was the Muck, which we use for going down into our creeks. It's a transformer-like machine that can get down in there and walk its way down into the creeks and then actually clean them out and then walks back out.
The The folks at Public Works enjoy the opportunity to show off what they do on a daily basis, especially to a younger crowd.
First off, the kids get to see that the city of Bryan is actively working around town. Second thing is they get to see some equipment that they've never seen before. I know they may see it from their cars once in a while, and they're asking their parents what they are. The parents probably don't really know. And then thirdly, it's a great way for us to get out and visit some of the kids and show them what the city of Bryan is now doing as far as staff and some of their training that they have.
In part, the event was organized by Amy Reed of Keep Brazos Beautiful, whose organization takes part in presentations at Johnson Elementary regularly. Reed believes the machinery demonstrations were a highlight of the kids' day.
You know, I think that their screams and whoas in their claps, I think that said it all. I think it was a great eye-opener for them. They didn't realize that these vehicles were in service in their community and what they did in their community. And I think now when they're driving around with mom and dad, they're going to be able to point it out to mom and dad and say, look, that helps our community be a better place, and look what the city's doing for us. And oh, that's one of our robotic, kind of pieces of equipment. And so I think they had a blast with it.
The demonstrations weren't just a highlight for the kids. The Bryan employees also got a kick out of showing students what they do every day.
This is an opportunity that they don't usually get. I mean, to get to show people what their capabilities are, because usually they're done in areas where people aren't watching.
After the demonstrations were over, the children showed their appreciation for the Public Works employees, and they were told they had another chance to thank them as well. In May, there will be a Public Works Appreciation Week, and the kids will be participating.
Who best to represent Public Works than through the eyes of a child? And what we are having them do after the presentation is they are going to design their own posters of what they saw today in their minds. What are these equipment pieces doing here in their community? And then what we'll do is actually have a contest and go in and take our top 10. Then we have posters, real life posters made of those, and those are going to be displayed all throughout the community in our businesses and schools and certainly at the day of the event.
Well, Alan, it's great to see that the city has another opportunity for our students to participate. The poster contests are always a fun thing for them to do.
Yeah, we'll find out the winners of that poster contest by Public Works Appreciation Week, which starts on May 17th.
Our next story is a look behind the scenes at another important group of people, our bus drivers.
Here at Bryan ISD, we have a large fleet of about 125 school buses. We transport 5,000 students a day, have about 7,000 different students that ride on any particular given moment. Bryan's one of the largest districts in the state, at least in this region. We're 450 square miles. We cover all the way out Highway 30 to the Navasota River, and then Brazos River is our other border. We even have a little bit of territory in Burleson County. Earliest bus probably leaves out of here at about 5:45 in the morning. I've had a driver on that's probably driven that route for the last 22 years, and is now carrying the kids of the kids she started with. We do have a number of drivers that have been here for up to 30 years, and so we've got a large number, probably between 20 and 30 years, and they just love doing the job and knowing that they're making a contribution to society and to the school. And obviously to do it that long, they do a good job at it. They have great driving skills and they have good student management skills. And to have hung in and perform that great service to our community is an awesome thing that someone can do it that long.
My name is Marilyn Mitchell. I have been driving bus for 30 years now. I really enjoy what I do because it gets me a chance to get to know the kids, help them learn the safety of riding a school bus and what not and what to do when they ride a school bus. So really, I like it because I like interaction with kids. So that's why I really enjoy what I do.
I drove for 17 years with the regular children. Now I'm with the special needs. And it's just fun, just communicating with all the different children. You see so many different people. I feel like they my kids, and they are so loving. A lot of people don't understand special needs children. You just got to get to be around them, and they hug you, and it's just like they're yours,
Right. So there's a wide variety of people, whether it's students or self-employed or people just trying to pick up some extra income. It's a great job for parents that have students. does start kind of early in the morning. Most of our drivers are here between 6 and 6:30, but they get off at 8:30, and then we start again at 2 to 2:30, and most people are home by 4:30 or 5. So we found it to be a great job for self-employed spouses, perhaps, that are looking for benefits, or people trying to supplement their income. It's a great job for people that want to work with students. Bryan ISD requires the same state requirements of any driver for any school district. They have to have a Class C CDL with both a passenger and a school bus driver endorsement. They have to pass a written test down at the DPS that contains 5 different written tests. Once they've been able to do that, we'll put them with our driver trainer, who will take them out and do the behind-the-wheel skills. You've got to learn to use your mirrors. You've got to be able to look behind you and see students and see what's going on the roadway. All the buses are automatic transmission, power steering, so the physical aspects of driving the bus are not that great, but it's the mental aspects of keeping track of what is going on around you. So our driver trainer is going to train them through that. We also have a student safety coordinator, Mr. Norris McDaniel, who's going to work with them in managing students and those management skills that work with students to get them to respond appropriately. Our drivers all get between 20 and 25 hours a week. We guarantee 4 hours a day. And the salary is good. We start out at $10.85 an hour, but the hours are flexible. You have that broad time during the middle of the day. You're also off during all of the holidays, whether it's spring break and Christmas, to be with your kids. So we find a lot of people really enjoy driving the bus and serving our students.
Well, Alan, we're always looking for qualified bus drivers. They do such a great job for us. And if anyone's interested in applying, they can go to bryanisd.org and check that out.
Well, for those bus drivers that are traveling to Rudder High School in the coming years, that path will get a lot nicer and a lot safer thanks to a new project that was recently approved that will completely replace Old Reliance Bridge. An aging transportation eyesore in Bryan is about to get an upgrade thanks to TxDOT announcing plans for a new $6.5 million Old Reliance Bridge. The new project is a result of the ineffectiveness of the current bridge.
As everyone knows, it's a real narrow bridge, probably 20 to 22 feet wide. Very narrow. 2 cars can barely pass each other, but definitely no room for pedestrians or bicyclists to cross the bridge.
The new bridge will be a tremendous upgrade with 8 total lanes. There will be 2 U-turn lanes, 2 left turn lanes, and 4 total straight lanes that will access Old Reliance Road and MLK, meaning the new bridge will look nothing like the current structure.
We know that it's going to be a complete rebuild of the bridge. They're going to tear the old bridge down and start from scratch, essentially.
As exciting as it is, the project won't appear overnight. TxDOT and Bryan officials hope it will be ready by the start of the 2010-2011 school year.
The bridge will bid in July, August timeframe, and it usually takes a few months to get started, to mobilize everything. And we think that the bridge should be complete by the fall of 2010, before school starts. So roughly about August 2010, about a year after it bids.
Well, that bridge looks like it's going to be a great improvement over what's there now, and I know it will definitely help traffic flow.
Yeah, and they hope to have that bridge completely finished before the start of the 2010-2011 school year.
In our next story, we spent some time with some music teachers at the elementary, middle school, and high school and got a look at why they think music education is important.
Music is part of our culture. Anywhere you go in the world, you will find their history written in music. And I think it's important that these kids try to understand some of that, this is not just something for a competition. This isn't something just for moms and dads on the stage. This is something you can use forever and appreciate if you just hear it out on the street or pass by a concert and enjoy it.
First thing is we want the students to learn about music. We value music in our lives and want to offer that to them. So we feel that the study of music is important in and of itself.
I mean, music's all around us in our culture in the first place. I think the way that societies have always esteemed artists, you look at just the way America views our music culture. We have rock stars and pop stars and American Idol, the show. It's very popular to be a good singer. And so I think when kids can achieve something that the whole world kind of looks at it and says, wow, that's beautiful, that's amazing, I like that, I kind of want to do that. When they can achieve that here, it's good for their self-esteem. But then I think it's good, to help them just kind of express things, how they feel. Music helps you express emotions. So I think there's a part of us that says, I really need to express something, and we find different ways to do that. And anyone who doesn't find a way to express some of their deeper feelings in an appropriate way will find to do it in a very inappropriate way.
Here at Bryan High School, and it's the case at Rudder also, there is band, other musical offerings are choir, choral music, vocal music, and also we have orchestra here at both schools. And so it's pretty well-rounded in terms of the offerings that are available.
We actually start our kids primarily in the 6th grade, from beginners, as in put a horn in their hand for the first time and start learning the music, how to read music. As we develop, we start developing fingering skills, technique. We start developing more advanced rhythmic skills, more advanced literature, to where when we get them to high school, they just pick up the process and then put it to the football field. You see the Viking band, and then into their wind ensembles. And then hopefully that develops on into a college performance. Some of our students even go into majoring in music.
Well, we have TEKs that we go by, state-mandated objectives. But one of my goals is to get them to sing as a group on key. And basically we want them to understand how to read music and write music, how to sing in a group, and just enjoy music is one of my goals. I hate for them to come in and just get a book understanding what music is and not really learn how important it is to just enjoy music.
We also understand that we play a support role for the school in various other ways, as entertainment, or simply even as simple as just being an activity for students to be involved in. And so we understand our relationship there to the overall side of school. But we don't just talk about music. These students play music in various genres, jazz band and pop idioms and classical idioms and things that we cover over the course of the year.
All the statistics show that music education builds testing skills, it builds math skills. It has a way of connecting the two hemispheres of the brain, making higher level thinking. More so than that, I think it's a cultural thing, it's an emotional thing, to get beyond the notes, to get into the music.
We feel very strongly, and research bears out, I think, that the participation in music enhances the growth of intellectual activity of all kinds. So we feel the study of music in particular is a very, very important part of students' education. It should at least be offered.
Sandy, it's neat to take a look at how the music program develops from grade to grade to grade.
It is, and I think it's important to remember that even though there's such an emphasis on academic classes because of tax testing, fine arts education is still very important.
Well, now we'll give you a look at the 2009 Great Exchanges Conference that was held recently here in downtown Bryan. It brought city leaders from all over the state and from across the country. The tables were arranged just like they would be in a normal conference. Municipal leaders shared ideas just as they would at a typical retreat, and all the appropriate signage was on display, just like any of the many conferences these city leaders have attended. But the 2009 Great Exchange Conference wasn't a typical city leader get-together, because this one was held in fun downtown Bryan.
It's an opportunity to not be in a stale conference environment where you're being lectured to. This is where the participants are also the program.
And according to City Manager Watkins, the Great Exchange Conference closely resembles a best practices meeting.
It's really sharing information between cities. As the name implies, things that have worked well. And in the past couple of years I've attended, and there's been some really good dialogue about efforts for cities to be more efficient or pursue grant opportunities or management, organizational development type issues.
Participants in the conference came from all over the country, including Bob Dixon from Greensburg, Kansas.
It's really great to see professional people get together and find out that they're not lone rangers, that they do share with each other those challenges and those opportunities.
Dixon's town of Greensburg was leveled in May of 2007 by a Category 5 tornado, which left much of the town on the ground and in pieces. But Dixon didn't come to Bryan to rehash his town's tragic tale. Instead, he spoke about how they've begun to rebuild. Greensburg is rebuilding all of their structures with environmentally friendly standards. Excuse the expression, but Greensburg is now green.
That is the legacy we're going to leave to future generations. And so investment-wise, it's taken a little more up front, but when you figure the long-term benefits down the road, we're building for 50 and 100-year buildings now, not just something that's going to last 10 or 15 years, because those aren't sustainable.
And because of their unique situation, Dixon can share with other leaders at the conference exactly how they're doing it.
It's about what we're going to do corporately across the United States and globally to leave that legacy to future generations.
Of course, the city of Bryan has an interesting story of their own to tell, and that's downtown Bryan.
Bryan has done a really good job of reinventing itself as a entertainment destination, historical attraction, and I think that's our future.
And this isn't the first Great Exchange Conference held in downtown Bryan.
One thing that I think speaks well for Bryan, the group almost collectively likes coming back to downtown Bryan because they're able to see how a good idea can become a great outcome.
Downtown Bryan has become a success story that everyone wants to hear about at the Great Exchange meetings.
We have a lot of cities in Texas that are of similar vintage, Lubbock or Waco, Huntsville, older towns who are competing with new developments on the fringe. So you're able to come here and take a look at what did the city of Bryan do to resurrect interest downtown.
And it has certainly attracted the attention and admiration of Dixon.
It's one thing that every community in the United States is trying to do, is to revitalize that area that through years was taken for granted. And as we expanded, we got to the big box stores and we moved out of downtown. And I'm very impressed with the streetscape and the progress that's being made here. It's a real visionary process, not only from the city administration, but the community had to buy into it too to make this happen.
Well, Alan, this exchange of ideas looks like it's been very beneficial.
Yeah, not only do we get to show off our downtown Bryan, but our city leaders who are down there in the conference, they learn a lot as well.
In our final story today, we'll take a look at the Bryan FFA and what that organization is doing to become involved in school and community.
Well, here at Bryan High School, we have somewhere in the neighborhood of about 60 FFA members that participate in the FFA. Out of about 200 ag students that we have in the overall program, and probably one of the things we face is the challenge of trying to encourage our students to take ag classes to go the next step and be a part of the FFA. The FFA offers extra leadership opportunities, the ability to carry the knowledge of the classroom into a competitive setting against other schools. Those are provided through FFA contests and many of the livestock show and rodeos across the state, such as Houston Livestock Show. Offers different kinds of career development events, is what we call them, but judging contests in dairy cattle and livestock and horse. They also offer public speaking. So it's not all about the animal side of it, even though that's an interesting phase, which is another thing that we try and promote, is that not every student has to be involved in the animal side of it, because there's also agribusiness and taking co-op classes, and there's also agricultural sales, ag communications events, and those public speaking events that students can also be involved in that take what they learn in the classroom and give them the ability to enhance those skills and challenge themselves in competition.
For me, FFA has been my life since about 5 years old. I've helped work concession stands, from bagging popcorn to actually selling the products. I've been fortunate to go to conventions like in Louisville, Kentucky, Indianapolis, Indiana. I've been a district officer, which had a lot of responsibility with it. I was a chapter officer for 1 year. I was the chapter treasurer. I've done chapter conducting, dairy cattle judging, creed speaking, several other events that have helped me to learn to speak better, be an example as a leader to my peers, and show that I'm responsible to the adults around me. I've got this heifer right here. Her name's Addie. Scrambled for her in Austin, and it's a lot of hard work, getting up every morning, staying up late, feeding, getting out here, washing them, brushing them, walking them around, getting them ready for show. And you have to put in a lot of hours to get good results.
I've been in FFA for 4 years, and I've been able to be on a lot of different leadership and career development teams. This year I'm our chapter president, which means I'm in charge of our officer team. And there's a lot of work that goes involved with that, and I have to work with the other girls on our team, and we plan the activities for the FFA and try to get people excited and to come out and participate. I was awarded the Houston Livestock Show Go Texan Scholarship, which is $15,000, and I'm almost positive that a lot of that came from my FFA experiences. And I've showed pigs for 8 or 9 years. There's a lot involved with raising pigs. I have to walk them frequently and practice my showmanship, and it's very much down to a science as to how much they're gaining per day and how much I want them to weigh on show day that best fits their body frame. So there's a lot involved. This year's Brazos County Youth Livestock Show will be March 28th through the 31st, and it's always one of my favorite things to do all year. I look forward to it, and it's a great 4 days. You know, the shows this year will all be on, most of the shows will be on Saturday. All of the animals come in on Friday, and then the auction will be Tuesday night. And it's always just a fun weekend with lots of cool things to see, getting to watch all the shows and cheer for your friends, and it's definitely one of my favorite things all year.
I would say that FFA opens a lot of doors, a lot of opportunities for you. I think the opportunities are lifelong. And I think they open doors and point you towards people that are really enthusiastic about helping young people, because there are scholarship donors, there are colleges and universities that are looking for students to come to them, and I think it provides you with that balance. And our focus is on the education of the young person and the broadness of them. We use agriculture as the tool, the means by which we get them there, but agriculture is a broad topic. It's not and I almost hate to quote it, it's not just the cows and plows things, because there's transportation, there's engineering, there's mechanization, there's biotechnology, there's nanotechnology, there's computers, there's just so many different areas that agriculture relies on now. And those are topics open for young people, and somebody's going to make an impact. And we hope that they come out of our classroom.
Well, Sandy, I'm sure after that little preview, a lot of folks will go and see what those kids are working on at the Livestock Show.
We hope so. The students have worked really hard, and it's always a lot of fun to see their projects every year.
Well, that's all the time we have for you on this episode of Bryan Living and Learning. To watch the show again, you can log on to bryantix.gov, youtube.com/cityofbryan,
or bryanisd.org. For Alan Bruggman, I'm Sandy Farris. Thank you for watching today.